Hello and welcome to the Geek Remix podcast, episode 18. My name is Stacy.
And I am Mari. This week in gaming news, Razer, I guess this isn't much gaming news, but it's gaming drama.
Okay, is this tech news or like just gaming drama?
Gaming drama news, but actual gaming news will come later.
Gaming melodrama?
Gaming melodrama. This week in gaming melodrama, Razer, the people who make headsets and keyboards and mouses and mouse pads and whatever else, they decided to post a fan picture that they got that said his and hers, and on the left it showed a bunch of Razer products, and on the right it showed some Louis Vuitton bags. And it said his and hers, implying his is the Razer, hers is the bags. And a bunch of fans of Razer were like, female fans were like, I don't like that. That's stupid. It's implying that his is the Razer and hers is some expensive purses, which they were nice purses, but it's implying a lot when you put that officially as a company on your Facebook page. And then the CEO responded, like, just casually, like, LOL, so true. That's probably not exactly what he said. This is just me going off of memory.
LOL, so true.
It was something along those lines. It was something along those lines. And a bunch of ladies were responding, like, kind of like, dude, like, no. And then they were deleting those comments, and then they deleted the post. After a bunch of people were like, and then sending them private messages being like,
WTF, this is like so rude.
Sending them private messages being like, I'm a customer and I don't like this. This is like not cool. And then they took it down and said this in reply in bulk to a bunch of people. Razer here, thanks for bringing this to our attention. This picture was originally a fan submitted image to our CEO, Min Liang Tan. I hope I said that right. I'm sorry if I didn't.
You definitely did not.
Okay. With the captions unedited, this picture, the image was then reposted by one of our regional page admins without including the original poster's link or caption. But that's not true, he did. We acknowledge that it does not reflect the original poster's caption and have since removed the posting. That actually isn't true. They kept the original poster's caption, it was his and hers, and they said that when they posted it, it did not say his and hers, but it did, so that's not cool.
That was his whole caption?
Yeah.
Okay.
So there was no indication which side of the product belonged to which gender. The implied statement of men like gaming and women like fashion is not at all reflective of our company's culture and one that was not our intent to make. We sponsor gaming teams based on the merit of the individual's abilities. Our company is one of gamers, all-inclusive. We are sorry to those who took offense and appreciate the community for highlighting this.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. I'm not entirely. I didn't feel like that apology was entirely sincere because I don't appreciate it when companies say, "Oh, like,
oh, we're sexist? No, you're sexist."
We didn't say who was who. But also when they say, "We're sorry to anyone who took offense," instead of saying, "I understand why this is offensive," it's saying, "Sorry that you're
offended."
Yeah. And a lot of people are probably going to go, well, you're nitpicking. And I'm just like, you know what? I'm a customer.
But that's like when people say, I'm sorry that you feel that way. Not like, I'm sorry that I was an asshole. It's, I'm sorry that you feel that way. Like, that's like a way of putting the blame on
you,
the customer. Or the person who's, yeah, it's like a very, like, it's like victim blaming light.
I'm sorry that the light was on your face when I saw you.
Yeah. No. I mean, like, lights, like light diet, like a diet food.
I don't, what?
like, I don't know, like it's like Diet Coke, like Coke Light.
Oh, I thought you meant like victim blaming the actual.
Yes, it's shining a light of victim blaming, a flashlight all around, illuminating all the victims.
It's like diet victim blaming, like very casual.
Yes, it's like casual victim blaming. It's like for people that don't want to get all up in your face and like just actually say like you're,
Yeah, it's you.
That you're being overly sensitive. Like they're not going to go quite that far, but they are going to say, "I'm sorry that you were offended." As opposed to, "I'm sorry that we're douche."
I would have appreciated it way more if they said, "Oh, like, my bad. Like, I didn't mean to officially represent this by the company." Because if you think that's funny on your own time, fine.
That's fine.
Like, but when you're, like, on a public forum and representing your company and stuff, like, be a little bit more aware of what your customer base is, because I have a Razer headset and stuff, and now I kind of feel like, I don't want to support that. And some people were like, well, that's so, like, whatever. And I'm like, listen, I paid for it, and I don't have to buy from a company that I don't feel like I don't want to. Like, I want to be pandered to.
Like, it just makes me wonder, like, I'm just going to go ahead and assume that it was a guy, that the admin was a guy that posted the picture, because I can't imagine a girl thinking that was quite as humorous. I mean, like,
I can imagine a girl thinking it's humorous and then thinking, probably shouldn't post that, though.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, it's totally fine if you think it's funny on your own time. Like, an example, earlier today, I was making fun of myself on Twitter, but not everybody who was reading what I was saying knew I was making fun of myself. And then someone was like, hey, like, are you being serious?
What the fuck?
Yeah, they were like, what the fuck? And I was like, oh, no, I was joking about myself. Like, I wasn't actually meaning anything I was saying. And then I was like, I gotta be aware of, like, people without context seeing what I'm saying and being like, what is wrong with her? You know what I mean? Like, you know, like, someone was like, hey, like, are you being for real right now? Like, because that's kind of being, like, a little intense. And I was like, oh, shit, like, no, we were just joking around. Sorry, like.
Yeah.
Because it's like we weren't having a private conversation. We were having a conversation publicly posted to the internet, so.
Also, just to be clear, pretty sure all those, like, for them to say, like, what really gets me is that they were like, oh, well, we didn't say whose side was whose, and it's like, you posted a picture of purses that are clearly women's purses.
You know, there's an entire line of Louis Vuitton purses for men, so.
And, like, not saying that, I don't know.
Not saying that if you're a guy and you want to have a Louis Vuitton purse.
But they knew cool. How it, like, and, like, even if it was the opposite, if those were a man's bags and, like, a woman's Razer headsets, like, they knew how it would be interpreted.
They knew.
They knew.
But, you know, if they didn't put any caption at all, it could have been seen as, I have both Razer and Louis Vuittons.
Yeah.
But, you know, whatever, like, at the end of the day.
Which would have been awesome.
Yeah. At the end of the day, like, the best thing you can do is just vote with your wallet and don't ever send, like, nasty messages. But just be like, I'm voting with my wallet, like, I don't feel comfortable buying products from you. Like, this is my choice. And I know some people are like, you can't just do that. I'm like, yes, I can, because it's my money. Like, it's my money. You
can't do it. What are they talking about?
Sometimes when there's, like, these controversies, people will be like, why you gotta be so butthurt? I'm like, because I don't want to spend money on shit I don't want to, like, support. Like, that's the number one way to vote on companies in capitalism is by bringing your business to a competitor.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
Like, nothing's going to change. Like, it's no different from choosing not to buy from EA as long as EA is making their games in a way that is bogging them down. It's not any different, so whatever, dudes. Anyway, tech news, Stacy.
Oh, yes. So, hold on. Epic Games has licensed all of Unreal Engine 4 for $19 a month. So, game developers rejoice. Woo! This is the engine that powers like Gears of War and Mass Effect. And it will now cost a lot less. It will be able to publish games to PC, Mac, Android, or iOS. And let's see, Xbox One and PS4 are supported too, but they have to license those the old-fashioned way. Which basically the old-fashioned way was that you have to license them on like a case-by-case basis. And but now it's like it's $19 a month. However, anyone could ship a commercial. So what they said was anyone could ship a commercial product with UE4 by paying 5% of gross revenue resulting from sales to users.
So Stacey and I were talking about this earlier, and I thought that was a really good idea because it's making this like powerful engine available to indie developers at an affordable price.
Mm-hmm.
And by doing that, you're basically opening up how many people have access to it, and then giving, you know how like there's all these indie games that are just blowing up, like making all this money. It gives them the chance. Gross revenue means that the money they make like total.
Yeah, and before anything else, like, so if your distributor takes a certain percentage, you have to pay the 5% before you pay the distributor.
Yeah, so it's like they're basically saying, here it is for really cheap, but if you get successful, it's gonna cost you, but you're still getting this engine.
Yeah.
So it's basically a relative to your success payment.
Yes, exactly.
So,
whereas, which is nice because in like before you would pay like a flat rate. So if your game did not do very well, you just spent like $5,000, to get this powerful engine, and you might make less money.
Yeah.
It does mean that you pay more money if you make more money, but I think that's an okay trade-off.
I think it's a really cool implication as to where indie games could go, considering that a lot of people are turning away from the AAA games. Like, people love that AAA games have great graphics, but they're not loving the way the gameplay and stories are starting to become more and more restrictive. So, I'm thinking that if indie devs have a more powerful engine to work with, kind of like how Outlast looked really good despite it being indie, like indie games will gain power in the marketplace, and then larger game studios will look to indie games and say, hey, maybe we just need to like stop doing this whole like gigantic game with like all these weird, I don't want to say mainstream things, but bogging games down by trying to make them as appealing as possible to as
many people. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's more realistic, I think, at least for the short term, is that if more indie games become successful, the bigger studios will just try to buy them out.
Yeah.
And amass developers and get them to keep.
That's already what's happening.
I know.
That's what EA does. They take them in and shoot them out back. But I was hoping that like indie games getting this engine at such a flat rate that's like obtainable would give indie games the thing that most people have been craving from them. Not most people, but you know what I mean? Like pixel art is easy to make and cheap to make. If you give people Unreal Engine, we'll see a lot less pixel art, but with the same amount of like love.
Yeah, I agree. One quick sidebar. Epic warns that the engine in its current form is quote unquote not very polished, suggesting that it's only ready for platform pioneers at this point. So if that sounds scary, they suggest checking back in about 6 months.
I want to hear if any indie developers are listening, like Black Ice and Luminix or Luminux, Paranautical Activity, all you guys, like,
what you think.
What you guys think of this. Tell us on Twitter or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just be like, you guys are so wrong. Like,
yeah, I know.
No idea.
You realize, like, now that we've talked about game development, which neither of us really have any experience with, some game developer is going to respond to this and be like, "This is a terrible idea. I don't know why you guys are on board with this." I'm kind of looking forward to it.
Can't wait. Whenever we talk to indie devs, they're always like, "Yeah, with the googity boops," and I'm like, "Yeah, totally goops."
And we respond with like, "So tell me about your game in words and stuff."
Yeah.
Where did you get the idea for the colors?
They're like, "Well, I use the color blocks engine," and we're like, "Wow, what is that?"
That sounds so much more complicated than I can comprehend. Well, I love the music. How did you get that? And they're like,
well, as you can see, it's procedurally generated in a quantum blue box.
Quantum simulator, blah, blah, blah. We got the music by like taking raindrops and putting them through a blah, 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 blah.
We're like, yep, totally following you.
They could just make shit up, and I'm not sure if we would be able to call them on their...
I hope someone comes on our indie podcast and then just makes everything up, and we pretend like we know what they're talking about, but they're just
dumb.
I want someone to come on there and just tell us not real things. And
Calling all indie devs, you can tell us whatever you want,
and we'll believe you.
And we'll believe you.
Valve. What?
Oh,
go ahead.
On a quick, like, while we're on the developer thing, Oculus Rift got a new developer kit which improves on the Crystal Cove prototype, and it's really funny because I watched the beginning of the video where they're getting interviewed about it, and basically they said that most of the changes are like not really that important. So there's that.
I don't understand why they call it like a new release. Isn't it just a patch if it's just small changes?
Well, but some of the changes are to like the actual hardware itself.
Oh.
And so like, I mean, yes, there are, it's not just like software. So, but yet, and I mean, like there are things that have changed. It's just not stuff that's like, whoa, groundbreaking.
It's probably something that's big to like someone who knows what they're talking about.
Yeah, I would assume that if I knew more about it, and if I had worked on it myself, then I'd be like, yeah, this is great. But unfortunately, because as we've discussed, we know nothing about this, it just seems like stuff.
But we're really good at pretending that we do. But actually, we're not actually good at that either.
No, I don't think we are.
But I like to pretend that I'm good at pretending.
Still no word on when it will be available for commercial, like, regular people's.
I'm so afraid this is going to be one of those, like, things where it's not amazing. I don't know. We'll get there when we get there.
Well, you know, we should just set up a thing on the Patreon where it's like, if we get to, like, $5,000 on the Patreon, we will buy the Oculus Rift when it releases. That'll never happen.
It's never going to happen. So.
We can just put it up there.
Just put it up there. Then someone's going to come to our Patreon and be like, who the fuck are these assholes with a $5,000, like,
people would be
goal
if they saw that on our page.
They'd be like, I think I'll donate $1. See that, and they'd be like, what is their problem? I'm out of here. I'm leaving.
Like, these girls are idiots.
God. Esports documentary by Valve. Okay, Valve is doing an esports documentary following the lives of 3 esports guys trying to win $1.6 million.
Jesus.
Yeah, so it's more about their lives and their family stresses and practicing stuff than about the game. So I think it's kind of like, you know, one of those things that's going to grow interest into esports, because I think a lot of what people are drawn to in sports in general is the game, but not only that, but also like the personalities. Because you know how people I'm like, oh yeah, Brett Favre. I don't know. I don't know who that is, but
do you want me to take this, Mari?
No, just let
Mari,
me.
I got
let
this.
me do this.
I got this.
But
Don't talk
what
about
happens
sports again.
is that like all these guys are like video game nerds, like in a non-derogatory way. But you know, a lot of them are like shy or like, yeah, like this game was great anyway. Bye. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
So I feel like this is a way for people to just really start to like connect, you know, with these players and be like, oh, you know, just a chance to like see who these people are a lot better. So I don't know. Great.
Well, and I think it will give a little more legitimacy now that you see that they're actual people.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of the scrutiny from the outside, like about esports from like the world outside, is like these are people that just play video games. Like, how hard can it be? And it's like, no, like they're actual people. You know.
Yeah.
Like they're like, you know, they're average people. They just happen to play video games. It's not like
and they're like really amazing at them.
Yeah, and like also, I don't think a lot of people realize how much money you can make off of esports.
You can make a lot. I mean, don't
You
quit
can.
your job.
I'm not saying. Well, but I mean, it's the same as any professional sport. Like, obviously, the people who are the best are going to make a lot more than the people who just, you know, dick around with Let's Plays like we do.
Yeah. The professional Let's Play competition. It's really fierce. We see Geek Remix over there commentating as hard as they can.
And what are they doing? Jesus.
Oh, they're gonna get points off for talking a little bit over the dialogue right there. You couldn't hear what Miranda said just there.
I believe they were interfering with the butt shot right there, so it's huge marks off.
Oh, they just missed a boob joke. They just missed a boob joke.
Missed a huge opportunity there.
Oh God, we'll see if they can fix that in post-production, but I'm not entirely sure.
They'll never make it into the finals at this rate.
Returning champion PewDiePie seems to be struggling this year. Like, talk about that volcano.
Oh, so just a quick note. There, hold on, my thing went to sleep.
Uh-oh.
Here we go. Okay, so there is this volcano in Iceland that is... Now, I don't know how seriously to take this because although it is... Okay, so there's this volcano in Iceland.
Completely exaggerate it to make it interesting.
So it's going to erupt tomorrow. We are past due for an eruption. If it erupts, it will blanket all of Europe in smoke, ash, and molten hot lava. This could reshape the Earth.
Okay, now be a little bit more realistic.
All right, so it last erupted in 2000, and when it erupted, it took just 79 minutes from the first warning earthquake until the volcano exploded. So very little warning on these things. And I guess like they've been expecting an eruption since 2006 when there were tiny earthquakes and surface swelling that hinted that new magma was appearing. And it's called Hekla, and it has blown its top more than 20 times in the last 1,200 years, blanketing southern Iceland with thick layers of ash and lava. And some of the eruptions are short and small, while others continue for months, pumping enough ash into the atmosphere to chill temporarily the northern latitudes. The last eruption lasted for nearly 2 weeks.
Wow.
So...
And then they had that eruption in 2010 by...
Flap.
Hold
on, let me try and say it.
Okay.
It's gonna sound like nonsense. It was because Mari was So it's like Aya Fiala Yoko.
No, like really try.
Loco? Something like that.
Someone in Iceland's gonna be
Somebody in Iceland is gonna be like, Stacy, you just told me you wanted a dick in your ass. Like... Because I don't know how to speak Icelandic. Like, I make no promises, okay? And I mean, you'll understand me if you saw this word. It doesn't look like a... I mean, it looks like a word, but just a nonsense word.
Looks like not... It's not a word.
It's not a word.
That one the one that erupted in 2010, that stopped, like, Europe in its tracks for a while. Like, no planes could fly or anything because there was so much just smoke and soot in the air that airplane pilots couldn't see. It was crazy.
But okay.
Wait, what?
Well, I mean, but can't they fly, like, without actually seeing?
No, because it was, like, so much just, like, everything. Like, they still need to be able to see, like, to get to, like... I mean... when you're flying,
we have radar for that.
But, Stacey, but, like,
I know.
Still need to be like, is that a mountain that I'm gonna fly into? I don't know.
If you're flying towards a mountain, you have way bigger problems on your hands.
Yeah, but there's a reason why they put, like, lights on, like, cell towers and stuff. It's... But also, I think there was, like, so much that it was getting into the propellers and stuff and the engines and...
So wait, this was in 2010?
Yeah. It shut down Europe.
Somebody in Europe, tell us about it.
Didn't affect us, America.
Yep. And I know, like, America just pretty much sits here and is like, we don't know what's going on with Europe. There's crazy economic stuff going on. We're America. We're fine.
War is about to start. Probably on the edge of maybe a world war. I don't know. Like, we're over here. So.
Yeah. Where's Crimea?
I
don't know. Admittedly, I did not know where it was either until I saw it on the news.
It's next to the big red one.
No, I know where it is now.
It's next to the big red one. That's all I know.
The big red one?
The big red one is Russia.
Yeah. The big red one. You mean the place where there are no gay people?
Yeah, they don't exist.
They don't exist.
We're joking. We're just saying what they said. We don't believe that. It's okay.
No. How many people have we pissed off on this podcast already?
Too many.
Developers, Europeans, Russians.
We have no fans anymore.
I know. We're doing great.
Awesome. PS4 upgrades their share functionality. They're going to be upgrading this soon, I think in the next update. It's going to be a software update. They are going to get rid of the HD... They're not getting rid of it, but you can turn off the HDCP and HDC... Excuse me, I'm burping.
Oh my god.
HDCP means that when you're recording off the HDMI, it stops you from being able to do that, so you can't, like, copy Blu-rays off of your PS4. They're going to turn that off for video games, and they're making it so you can stream off the PS4 at a higher resolution. Right now, I think it's something like 900p off the PS4 onto Twitch and Ustream, and they're upgrading that. And they're also making it so you can record onto USB for when you're recording gameplay, instead of having to record it, upload it to Facebook, and then download it from Facebook and do whatever else you do. We don't do that. But, for people who just, I don't know, want to do clips or something. I don't know. And then you're able to record for longer than 15 minutes at a time. And that's really great for people who want to start Let's Playing or doing gaming videos or whatever else. Personally, I'm going to stick with our external recording device that records through HDMI, because I feel like, what if the recording is taxing on the PS4 and then it makes the game stutter and blah, 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 blah.
Blah.
Yeah. I'm not sure if that's actually going to happen, but the PS4 does struggle when playing Thief, so... I don't know. I just like doing what I know works instead of taking the chance where it's
it's like Oh, I just recorded for 6 hours with laggy bullshit material. Yay.
Or I just recorded for 6 hours and it crashed 3 hours ago.
Oh.
So,
Do you remember that time that we recorded like all of first episode of Wolf Among Us and my audio cut out like at the beginning?
I was like, I didn't want you to freak out, so I was like, it's fine, I'll fix it. It's not fixable.
There's no way to fix it. No, you were like, it's fine. I'm going home. It's fine. It's fine. And
I wasn't upset at all. I just didn't want you to be upset, so I was like, I can fix that. Sure.
No, you can't.
You're like, but there's nothing there. Don't worry about it. Fixed. It's fixed. I never finished Wolf Among Us because I didn't feel right to play it without you. So.
Oh, that's too bad. Like it's like I've played it a couple different times because I've watched like a couple different playthroughs of the first episode, which, by the way, I still have to watch the second episode.
Supervin did 2 different versions for you.
Of the first one, right?
Yeah.
I watched those.
And then I'm saying
watched the second episode.
I'm like, there's so many games I gotta keep up with.
I know.
Too many. Like, there was this, like, lull of games. There was no games in January, and then suddenly every single game come out, and I was like, ah, shit.
Yeah. I feel like it would be completely doable for me to, like, take... I would never actually do this, but if I would be able to take, like, weeks off just to watch Let's Plays. Like, there are just so many. There's so many good ones.
Oh, something that happened earlier today is, like, Watch Dogs is coming out soon, and Watch Dogs basically takes place in Chicago in the future, and it's like seriously like straight up Chicago. Like, I saw them running around and was like, okay, we live in Chicago, that's it. So
it's okay.
Yeah,
it's okay.
Chicago's got like 20 million people. You're not gonna find us.
Yeah.
So I'm watching it and I'm like, wow, it's cool. And like, I just got walked inside being like out and about. And then like, you know how like it's getting warm. So gross dudes are like, hey, what are you doing?
Hey,
what's up?
Hey, little girl.
And like, if you ignore them, they're like, you bitch. Like, you know, like.
Yes, I do. I know
like,
exactly what you're talking about.
Not responding makes you a bitch. So I come home, watch it, and I was like, this looks cool, this is cool. And then it shows, like, here's a woman walking down a dark alley, like, with her coffee. But it wasn't, like, a dark alley. She was just taking a shortcut to work or something. And I was like, oh, shit. And then this guy comes who's like, hey, like, blah, 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 blah. And she's like, I told you to leave me alone. And it's like, you can choose to either save her or not. And I was like...
What?
And I was like... So I just walked in from walking around Chicago, getting harassed, will come home, turn on Watch Dogs, and it's like, oh, great. I get to watch a simulation of myself. Cool. Like, great. Yeah. Like, great. It's cool and gritty and real. But the last thing I want to do when I come home... Get inside my apartment, like, finally, there's no creeps in here. Sit down, turn on my PS4, and then see an exact reenactment of what just happened to me outside. Sorry, like, no, thank you. Like, ugh.
Ugh.
I mean, no, it looks like a great game. Looks like a great game. That just one part I was like, ugh. Come on, like, can I get a break? For real? Like, just one fucking second. Just, like... There's got to be, like, some sort of cosmic comedy to that. Where it's, like...
Have you heard anything about the graphics?
I think they look good, but what do you mean?
Oh, this is for PCs, I think.
Oh, say it.
No, I looked up Watch Dogs, and, like, the first thing that popped up was this headline that said... Did Ubisoft mislead gamers about Watch Dogs' next-gen graphics?
It looks good to me, but you can't really tell until you get the game.
Totally true. Because they can make like a trailer look fucking awesome.
I saw 100. I watched 100 minutes of gameplay, so.
Okay.
I'm not entirely sure. Like, that's hard
You
to
watched
fake.
100 minutes of gameplay?
It was uploaded on their thing. I typed in Watch Dogs gameplay, and it said Watch Dogs 100 minutes of gameplay. So in the beginning, it was like, hey, this is Watch Dogs. This is how you play. And then they're like, enjoy another 100 minutes of gameplay. So then I just had it on, and I just wanted to see what the deal was.
Mm-hmm.
To see if it was can this be our next Let's Play? Blah 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 blah. How do you play? How's this? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I just want to see it. I didn't watch the full 100 minutes.
Okay, because I was
I skipped around.
I was not even a Let's Play, it's just gameplay?
It's not out. I just wanted to see what the game steez was. It looks good.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if this is if this article is actually talking about a complaint to the graphics, because I don't think I have the mental capacity to read this thing through and
be in the podcast.
No. Nope. Okay, so that's a headline. You guys can read more about it if you want.
Yeah, Google that. Whatever.
Google that. Actually, if you just Google Watch Dogs, that's the first thing that pops up. It's from Tech Radar UK.
Graphics are really great and everything, but I feel like people get distracted too much by that, or to the point where it's the game is lost inside of that.
And I mean, the graphics shouldn't be distracting from the story, but they should enhance the story enough so that the story shines through.
I love great graphics.
There has to be a story.
But it's you don't let that be the entire focus point of everything you talk about. I mean, and a lot of people get hung up on graphics when it's really, sometimes people think that, a game has really good graphics when really the game has really good art direction.
Very true.
And people when you just look at a game, you're like, those are great graphics, but it's no, man, that's really good art direction.
So explain to our viewers what you would mean by that.
Okay, so Wolf Among Us, Walking Dead. Good art direction, not necessarily graphic intensive.
Ooh, there you go.
Silent Hill 4, the one with the girl in it, was on the PlayStation 2. Not very hard hardware, but it still managed to look really, really good. It looked like it was a good, graphically intense game when it really wasn't. It was just really well designed in terms of art direction.
Mm-hmm.
An example of
bad art
direction, but good graphics would be I can't even think about one. I'll show a screenshot of one right now.
Yeah, I mean, we can also just keep things positive if we want.
Yeah, but there's there's a lot of games out there. The thing is that games with really bad art direction are completely forgettable, so.
Yeah. Well, I would imagine that a game with poor art direction would be a game that has really good graphics, but the setting is a bit lacking in imagination.
I think there was a Monster Hunter game that was really lacking. It looked really good, but it was really lacking. But I don't remember which one it was. I forgot.
Mm-hmm.
You got one more story?
I do. So March is Women's History Month, and I actually did not know that until I saw it on the internet. And it is now, what day is it?
The 20th.
Yeah, it's the 19th of March. I feel like that's it's almost 3 weeks into the month, and I feel kind of shitty about that because I am a woman.
Well, thank God Bank of America reminded me on a tweet.
But so you guys probably don't know about this, or maybe you do, but so there's a new documentary coming out about Anita Hill. And Anita Hill was a black woman who, in 1991, testified against a man who was nominated to the Supreme Court. And she testified against him on grounds of sexual harassment. And it was a huge deal because she was this like lone black woman testifying to a board of 14 old white man senators. And these guys like
tore her apart.
Like, first of all, they didn't believe her because it was, you know, the guy that she was testifying against, Clarence Thomas. It was his word. It was his word against hers, and of course he denied it.
Oh wait, hold on. I'm about to cough, and I don't want to interrupt you. I'm sorry.
All right, Mari is choking on the injustice.
I am choking on the injustice. It's too much. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Continue. It's
okay. So, and he did actually end up getting nominated to the Supreme Court. However, her testimony before the Senate Judiciary Committee was like, it brought a lot of awareness to sexual harassment in the workplace, and sexual harassment cases more than doubled from like just over 6,000 in 1991 to like 15,000 in 1996. And over the same period, awards to victims under federal laws in cases of sexual harassment like quadrupled. So people started taking it a lot more seriously and like
believing in themselves.
Yeah, and like people actually thought to themselves like, hey, this is happening to me and I don't have to just stand for it just because I am like one of the few women that works here, or because it's mostly men that work above me, or whatever it is. The media heralded the 1992 election year as the year of the woman, when a record number of women ran for public offices and won. In the U.S. Senate, 11 women ran and won 5 seats. And then in the House of Representatives, 24 women won new seats. And many people saw this increase as a direct reaction to the Thomas nomination. And Thomas was the guy that she
was testifying
against. And the reason it was a reaction to that is because like a lot of like women's groups and liberals were really afraid that he was going to set everything backwards, because if here's like another guy.
No, I get what you're saying, but it instead of making it back, it magnified it and made everyone be like, oh my god, like all this time I like didn't realize.
Yeah, and
oh, sorry, go ahead.
And at the time when this guy was appointed to the Supreme Court, many people felt that Anita Hill's allegations were not taken seriously because the Senate was 98% male. 98%.
You told me that you saw part of the testimony.
Yeah.
And
horrifying.
It was really hard. I know I should watch it, but at the same time I'm like, you know that if you watch it you're gonna be really scared.
And it was scary, and it's especially scary because like this happened in 1991. Like that's 23 years ago. That's not as long as you would think.
Like, can you imagine like sitting in a room trying to tell people like what happened to you? And you know what, you describe it because I don't want to misinterpret it. It's like these 14 old white guys basically, and she's a very like well-spoken, elegant woman. Like when she's speaking to them, she was a professor, and she's talking about these things that are like very graphic and horrifying that anybody would have to be subjected to from like somebody who works with them. And they just like they tore her apart. Like they were disputing everything she said and being rude to her, and like even if they didn't believe her, that's like not the important part. The part of it was that like they just the anger,
like they were angry at her for even coming forward and like really disrespecting her.
Bringing this back to video games, This is related. So you know how Anita, whatever
Hill.
her last name.
Anita Hill.
No. Anita, feminine frequency.
Oh yeah.
So a lot of people don't actually, like, even in, like, women in the gaming community are like, I don't agree with her videos or whatever, or they're just like, they watch it and they're like, whatever. And, like, her videos themselves don't actually, like, the fact that her videos exist and make some people so angry to the point where
I know.
that's the point that actually started all of this, like, movement in gaming. It wasn't so much that she created these videos. The videos themselves are, like, not even really inflammatory or anything. They're just like, she makes points and then I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. But, like, what people really noticed was the reaction to her and the hate towards her and the abuse, like, just the straight abuse she receives from a lot of the gaming community.
I know, it's insane.
But similar to what happened to Anita Hill, a lot of game companies and game journalist websites were, wow, like, it is a problem. We did create this, like, society where women are treated like this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, all these guys saying really mean things about her actually have proven her point by themselves. She put a focus point on how women are treated in the gaming community.
And it's like they're proving her right.
They're proving her right in a way that she couldn't have ever done. Like, they did that. Yeah. And now game companies are going like, wow, like, there's, like, a lot of vocal women coming up and saying, like, hey, like, I feel this too and stuff. And they're being like, maybe we can have more female protagonists that are, like, not designed for men, but maybe designed for both.
Not just walking boobs.
Yeah, designed for both men and women. And also, maybe we do need more female developers on our teams and stuff like that. Like, you know? So, and then also game journalists, they're starting to be like, rather than trying to, like, pander to the boys club, being like, haha, like, well, what are these women doing? Like, there's no problems. They're starting to be like, oh, wow, there is a problem, and we should point that out. Like,
yeah.
So this is, like, it's the same thing. Like, it's hard to do it at first, but after that initial lance of the wound, it starts just pouring out, you know? So, yeah. Women's History Month. Give us money.
Women's History Month. Yep. So, and, like, obviously anybody who knows us will know this to be true, but I just want to reiterate that our support of women's rights is never it's never about tearing down men.
It's believing that men are intelligent people who don't want to hurt women.
Yeah. And the majority of men honestly have nothing to do with the discussions that we have about women's rights. The majority, like, I would say pretty much all of the guys that we know and, like, the developers and, like, gamers that we're friends with are, you know, very, very open, accepting, and, you know, people that this really doesn't apply to, but it's just, like, there's some people out there who are making the rest of them look very bad.
Yeah, just like with any group, even with women and everything, like, there's always going to be people who make other people look stupid and bad. Like,
yeah,
it's just, it's not about like trying to go into, you know, games are a guy space, like, guys feel cool and, like, this is their space to relax. Like, you know, it's not actually your space. Like, it's our space. It's both of our spaces. Like, when you come home and you're like, you just want to relax and see some titties, like, I come home, I want to relax and not see a reenactment of what I just went through outside. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we're both coming home being like, shit, I just want to relax.
I just want to play video games.
Yeah. Like, no one's trying to take your titties away, but we just want someone that we can relate to. And then maybe we can see some hottie guys. I don't know, like, just...
Yeah, and I don't think there's anything wrong with, like, having some stereotypical female characters. Like, there's nothing wrong with having some women that don't wear a lot of clothing and have huge boobs. Like, there's nothing wrong with that, but they shouldn't all look like that.
I just want some for me, please. Just throw me some hot stuff.
Yeah, why is it that... So, I know we never looked at this, but in Saints Row 4, were you able to create a male character that also didn't wear underwear?
Yeah. He had and you could change his sexuality by making his dick really big.
Of course you could. Why didn't we play it again? Why didn't we do another
I'm pretty sure that guys can wear dresses and stuff too.
We should have just been like, and this playthrough's for the ladies.
And he's wearing the dress that we had her wear.
He's wearing a dress with no underwear, and he just, like, flies around and, like, looks up the back of the skirt.
Yes. Perfect.
Women's History Month. This is how we celebrate.
We're smart. We're, like, really good at social commentary. Like... You guys should follow us and, like, take our opinions really seriously.
You guys should take us super seriously.
Please respect our brains.
All right. Thanks. If you have nothing else, thanks for joining us today, everybody.
Cool. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.